If there's two things that I can always plan on being consistent when I order from Horizon Hobbies, it's one, I'm going to get a great plane, and two, box geometry. Always unique. Always. All right, well, thank goodness the box geometry doesn't seem to have affected this box. Here I've got the new UMX Turbo Timber. This is by E-flite, and the UMX line of planes is just a fantastic line of planes, and I have fallen in love with them. In fact, I have 3 of the original UMX timbers because, bar none, as a benchmark, the best plane in a, well, especially a park flyer or a micro, but even getting up into some of the larger scale flyers, when you start talking about like the 1.2, 1.3 meter planes, a lot of them don't have the features that these little guys have, and these are a dream to fly. So the UMX line has, totally got me on board, especially with safe. My goodness, you want to talk about a STOL type aircraft that really is hard to crash. That's the timber line. Now, I've been really impressed, with what I've got. I thought to myself, the turbo timber, what's the big difference between this and the other classic timber? Well, difference number one is, of course, E-flite, always looking to, create something new for the market, has discontinued the old timber, which makes me sad. So this had better live up to the legacy of that plane, in my mind. It really, really was a good plane. So we've got a lot to live up to here. Now, if its lineage is anything to, be, kind of reference to, then I think we're in good shape here. All right, we've got 4 pieces of Scotch tape holding our clamshell shut. Now, I love these boxes. These are so good. You can throw your receiver, your battery, and then one side, throw the whole thing in your car, drive to a park, drive to a field, fly, have some fun, come home. And it totally protects these little teeny planes. And they are small planes. They are also a little bit delicate, but they're more rugged than you would think. A little piece of plastic here protecting our windshield, and wow, there we go. That's our plane. Looks like we've got a extra metal landing gear. This is probably for the add-on pontoon feature. And we've also got a set of wing slats. These go on the leading edge of the wing and increase the performance of the plane and handling in low-speed flight. I'll be putting those on these, just a few drops of CA. All right, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And why don't we throw it back here? If you don't know what we're looking at, well, that's your fault, not mine. Beautiful little plane. First impressions. I'm very used to the old timber, so the graphics being slightly different. We're more red here than we are orange on that. Kind of stand out to me. And again, these planes, they're really feature rich. So, immediately we've got our leading edge of the wings all lit up. We've got strobes and running lights all over this plane, down underneath as well. Boy, just a beautiful little plane. I love the attention to detail on this. Now, supposedly some of the big differences between this and the regular timber, and in fact, let's go ahead and grab that regular timber out. We can actually talk about these side by side and take it and kind of compare. So as you can see, they're very similar planes. Super similar. Things that jump out immediately. Tails are nearly identical. Our wings are nearly identical. We do have an elongated engine compartment here versus what we have on our little timber here. Now, the bush planes in both actual aircraft as a hobby, flying, sport plane and sport license, as well as the RC world, seems to be really jumping kind of on board with what's going on in popular interest. These planes are fantastic, and you know, you got a few YouTube channels out there that really celebrate these, and you know, we've got, you know, Super Cubs, we've got Timbers, we've got Kit Foxes that are really popular right now. So these planes really do have their place in the hobby, and they're a lot of fun to fly. So the turbo timber is supposed to be more turbo than the standard non-turbo timber. And actually it is. So there's two really big main differences between these two planes. Number one is, instead of a 2-bladed prop, we have a 3-bladed prop on the turbo. And on the turbo, we also have a 3400 kV motor, whereas we only have a 3000 kV motor on the old original timber. Now, trust me, that's more than enough power to fly, to have fun, to do aerobatics, and to get yourself into trouble. I've crashed mine a few times. That's why I have a couple spares, because I love this plane so much. Taking a look at this, you know, same rugged design all the way around. I'm very impressed. I actually think this is going to hold up well. Now, they've actually solved a problem that I think everyone who's ever had one of the standard timbers runs into. The pants on our landing gears notoriously always pop off. Even on soft landings, they'll pop off. And there's no connector between the fuselage and it's just a couple little clips, and that's why. It looks like they've actually added a extension to this and a screw to hold those pants to the fuselage, so you can still have your hard landing. You're either not chasing those down or just losing them outright, and you clip it back on and off you go. So that's a nice little feature, actually. I kind of like that. We have the same construction in the wings all the way across the board. In fact, it looks to be the identical same wing. I don't see a difference between these whatsoever. Kind of interesting in that. We're still using the same servos. Now, that's kind of nice. Some of the UMX planes, they don't put these little covers on, and for me, that's not a good thing. I think that's kind of lazy, consistency-wise. They've actually got them on both the old timber and the new turbo timber. So, all right, that's good. I can live with that. You know, interestingly enough, on the original timber, we have a piece of tape holding our wires down going to our lighting, and we have no such thing over here. We actually have raw wires that could easily get caught on anything, including maybe your pants as you're walking out to the runway and you snag it. That's not good. Tail sections are identical. Side by side, they're literally identical. So very interesting. So it looks like it's a combination of a brand refresh and update, probably some licensing there that they have to pay for the timber name, and also the fact that they've gone ahead and put a slightly longer nose on it, and looks like the battery compartment is a little bit larger. So another thing now, as I pop these two noses off, boy, look at the difference in length on those, huh? Pretty big. The timber, the original timber, has lighting in the nose for its landing lights. Pretty cool. I actually really like that. There is no lighting in the nose of this version. Oh no, there is. There is. It is buried and points down below, so it comes out these two little holes in the bottom. Kind of interesting. We have our plastic fake exhaust there. That's kind of fun. And our 34 kV motor. And let's just confirm that this is a 3000 kV motor. So, you know, other than that, there really isn't a lot of difference. The tires are identical between these two planes. I'm really quite surprised how cookie cutter it is. So it looks like the turbo timber is a very minor improvement in performance overall, and a couple little pieces of plastic. It'll be interesting to take these out and fly them side by side. I've flown this enough that I know what to expect. It'd be interesting to see if this has a little more acrobatic capabilities, and who knows, maybe it does. So, you know, interesting, holding these two planes side by side. Let's go ahead and take a moment. We'll bind this up, we'll get a battery in it, and let's see what kind of power it's got. Alrighty, so here we have these now, all lit up side by side, and they really are beautiful airplanes. Really, truly, I mean, when you look at these planes, I mean, the features these have blow my mind for the price. $134, $135, you know, tax, free delivery, free shipping. These are great planes. You would be hard pressed to find from many manufacturers the same attention to detail, the lighting, the overall set of features that these have in a larger scale plane, 2, maybe even 3 times the cost. Heaven knows we've found those planes, and that's why these are the benchmark for us, really comparing any other planes. So I love my original timber. The turbo timber is really growing on me. You know, one thing I noticed as I was putting in the batteries is that little clip that I had referenced that kind of helps hold the pants on also stabilizes the plane. And so I noticed that when I kind of tap the wing here, I've got a fair amount of jiggle going on. When I do that over here, it deadens very quickly, and I attribute that to that little clip. So, small little detail I found. Now, the real question is there more power? Is there any difference? So I've got a 2-cell 300 milliamp battery in both of these. Now this is, I think, rated for 240 to 280. I've always flown my timber on a 300. That little bit of extra flying time compared to the weight really doesn't make a difference for me. And honestly, I've found those batteries tend to be a little bit cheaper. So hey, you know, why not? So let's give it a whirl here. Let's see how the original timber fills. I love that nasally sound that motor makes, and it really uses the whole fuselage kind of as a reverberation chamber, and it just makes it that much more loud. Which truly though, in a park flyer, I've enjoyed, because I always know if my motor's running and what RPM I'm at. So that's the normal, that's what we're used to. Let's see if turbo feels any more turbo. Yeah. It sure does. There actually is quite a difference. So we still have that same nasally kind of motor sound, definitely a higher RPM, higher pitch, definitely some good pull on that. Now I attribute that to the higher motor, just in a hint, just a little bit, but that 3-bladed prop, now that's really making a difference, and I kind of am excited to see what this will do. Yeah, all right. Okay, well, you know, turbo timber. Well, can I recommend it? Yeah, I can, because this one's not for sale anymore. but in all seriousness, actually, I think the heritage has moved right across. Primarily because they're using the identical same wing, the identical same tail, the identical same upper half of the fuselage, because it actually clamshells in 2 pieces, and then that's what wraps up to the nose and gives us our little front top cowling here. So really, this plane, they changed 2 pieces of foam and just kind of stretched it. That's it. It is the same plane between the 2 of them. This one just seems to have a little bit more oomph, and that'll be interesting to see, you know, how that translates. You know, the reason you go with a bigger, faster RPM, you know, motor in a real airplane, you want better travel time, right? You don't want to have to just be plugging along. In RC flight, does that make a huge difference on a scale plane like this? No, in fact, I don't care. What I do care about is, does it change the flight characteristics of the plane? Can I climb faster? Can I maybe do a little bit more acro than I was doing before? And those are the things we're going to put to the test. But we'll bring good old reliable along as well. So there you have it. Kind of a side-by-side breakdown. There are a lot of similarities between these planes, but I'm happy to see that this has lived on, and this new format doesn't bother me. I think this is a great addition to that line and that heritage of the timber planes, and I look forward to flying it. So until that video comes up, keep flying.